A 65-year-old man shares his experience. Avoid spending money in this area in your later years. Many realize too late after reading this. Know early, benefit early. As we age, our ability to earn money gradually weakens. Every penny saved over the years from hard work becomes precious. However, in later years, sudden health problems may arise, and without sufficient savings, even basic medical needs can become a struggle, unable to afford caregivers or medical bills. In reality, some elderly people, due to a lack of awareness about society or poor financial management, unknowingly drain their savings, leading to financial difficulties in their later years. The experience of 65-year-old Mr. Cheen serves as a lesson in financial wisdom for seniors. Mr. Cheen, now retired for 5 years, receives a monthly pension of 7,000 yuan, but he continues to work part-time, earning additional income. After retirement, to ease his son's financial burden, he voluntarily handed over his pension bank card to his son to help pay for a nanny and child-rearing expenses. Mr. Cheen believed this was his duty as a father, especially after the passing of his wife, with no one to help care for his grandson. However, one day, Mr. Cheen visited a retired colleague in the hospital, and this encounter completely changed his perspective on life in old age. His colleague's wife had passed away years ago, and he had sold his old house, giving all the money to his son and daughter-in-law, along with his bank card. He thought that after making such significant contributions, he would be well taken care of in his later years. But while hospitalized, he discovered that his entire pension had already been withdrawn by his daughter-in-law, and the money from selling his house had been lost in a failed investment by his son. In the end, he couldn't even afford surgery. His son even suggested that he forego treatment and opt for conservative therapy to recover at home. In reality, this was just letting him wait for death. Overwhelmed, his colleague broke down in tears and lamented, "Never hand over your money or house to your children. When you're old and sick, your children might be unwilling or unable to help." This deeply resonated with Mr. Cheen, who suddenly realized that in old age, only by holding on to 3 essentials, health, a home, and savings, could one live with dignity and security. He decided to take back control of his finances. Upon returning home, Mr. Cheen discussed with his son about getting his bank card back. Given that his monthly pension was substantial and he had savings, Mr. Cheen was willing to give his son 3,000 yuan monthly as support, but he needed to manage the remaining amount himself to save for emergencies. However, his son made various excuses to delay returning the card, even suggesting that if his father reclaimed it, his daughter-in-law might not support him in his old age. Mr. Cheen realized his son had become reliant and selfish. He promptly reported the card as lost and got a new one, deciding to take full control of his finances from then on. When payday arrived, and his son found he couldn't access the bank card, he called Mr. Cheen, suspecting something was up. "Dad, did you find a new partner and need a lot of money?" Mr. Cheen calmly explained, "I haven't found anyone. Your mom and I helped you because we saw the pressure you were under after having a child. Now you and your wife are both settled with stable jobs, and your child is about to start school. It's time I planned for myself." Mr. Cheen went on to tell his son, "My pension will now cover my living expenses. Your life is your responsibility. I can't support you forever." His son continued to make excuses, citing his wife's attitude and threatening not to care for him in old age. But Mr. Cheen made it clear he wouldn't rely on them. He added, "I won't live with you. When the time comes, I'll either move into a nursing home or hire a caregiver. If I get sick, I'll rely on myself and maintain my independence." After this conversation, Mr. Cheen began planning his later years more carefully. With his monthly pension of 7,000 yuan and income from work, his total earnings approached 10,000 yuan per month. He planned to work for another 5 years and formally retire at 70, by which time he would have saved 1,000,000 yuan in addition to his stable pension, allowing him to live out his later years with dignity and security. He also realized that 70 is not particularly old, and with good health, he still has time to accumulate more wealth. He decided that if he ever needed help in the future, he would no longer rely on his son and daughter-in-law but would instead hire part-time workers or a caregiver. This way, he could maintain a comfortable life in his later years without falling into dependence on his children. Through this experience, Mr. Qin understood that financial independence and self-management in old age are irreplaceable. Without enough savings, the elderly lose control over their lives. Money in your own hands is the key to dignity and peace of mind. While children are family, relying too heavily on parental financial support can erode their respect and leave the elderly in a vulnerable position. 6 Practical Tips for Protecting Your Retirement Savings. 1. Beware of children relying on you financially. Don't buy homes or cars in full for them. The phenomenon of kids depending on their parents has become increasingly common. Seniors must learn to recognize and prevent it. Young people are in their prime earning years and should face life's challenges on their own. Seniors buying homes or cars for their children may weaken their independence. Children need to experience life's struggles to grow into self-reliant adults. Also, parents shouldn't exhaust their savings on caring for grandchildren or household expenses. 2. Be cautious of scams and low-cost travel deals. Seniors should be wary of low-cost travel and health product scams. Many discounted tours are designed to exploit seniors through overpriced goods. Similarly, health products are often promoted fraudulently, with no real health benefits. Seniors should stay away from these traps to protect their savings. 3. Manage generational relationships wisely and give gifts within your means. While it's natural to give grandchildren gifts, seniors shouldn't feel obligated to give excessively. It's important to manage your financial gifts and not sacrifice your retirement quality. 4. Avoid unnecessary social obligations. Don't feel pressured to spend money on social events, especially with distant relatives. It's not necessary to participate in every celebration, as your own financial security comes first. 5. Don't overspend on travel. Travel can be expensive, and long trips can strain both your health and wallet. Avoid spending large portions of your savings on travel, especially if it compromises your future well-being. 6. Cultivate inexpensive hobbies to enrich your life. Find hobbies that don't require large expenses, like walking, reading, or gardening. These activities not only enrich your later years but also promote physical and mental health while saving money for future needs. In conclusion, managing your finances wisely is key to a happy and secure retirement. Seniors should be cautious about unnecessary expenses, focusing on health and financial independence to enjoy a peaceful and dignified later life.